welcome to the Broskiedoodles Podcast. It's one of the most entertaining, but also learning podcasts that we have right now on the network. And we got the full crew. When you talk about, the four dicks all together, like the four musketeers, this is what you get. You get the quadruple force. You got Tavo.
The four Broskieteers.
The Broskieteers. You got Tavo, you got Fear, and you got DJ BJ. And I wanted to hit you guys with a little surprise topic because there's this concept that I've been seeing in Spain and that also exists in the United States. And it's a little macabre. I think that's a word, macabre or macabre. If not, we can make it up and we can register it. Reverse mortgages. From what I can understand, you still owe your property, but you've paid a good amount and the house has gone up in price, so you got equity there. So some institution that I would assume is involved with the devil makes a deal with you where instead of you paying a monthly thing, they're gonna give you money and you're gonna have money until the day you die. And when you die, they're gonna take everything that you had. Now, that's the evil way of looking at it. The other way is like, this shit can actually help you. And as an old person, give you a way of paying for your things when you're in those last years and maybe you don't have support. In Spain, they do it similarly, where you're able to sell a property to somebody. And in the contract, it says that you can live there until you die. And when you die, the person you sold it to now owns it. So what do you guys think about this little, tools or financial tools? Yeah.
Main one is weird. I bought the house, but somebody's still living in it. Are they paying me monthly? They're paying my rent.
No, you're paying them.
It's my house. They're living in it until they die, and then I get it. Why am I keeping them in the house? They're paying me.
Well, normally you get the house for a cheaper price, like half price.
Oh, it's like fire sales right before they die?
I mean, I've always thought when I see this type of things, like the incentives, right? If you get involved in one of these things, it's in your benefit for all these old fucks to die quick,
I don't know. I'm not seeing the second one. Like, so you bought the house, and let's say at a discount. You say you bought a half price, but that person's still living in there for the rest of their time that they're alive.
Can you room with them?
Bro, yeah, sorry.
All right, so let's start at the top because it looks like we need definitions.
Look at this guy coming through with his wide ass.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this?
He comes in like this. He was like, what up?
Wait.
What up, you little retards? Let me get some structure going.
Let's start, right? So
let me bring in some clarifications.
So a reverse mortgage is a mortgage loan usually secured by a residential property that enables the borrower to access the called unencumbered value of the property. So I'll elaborate. So the loans are typically promoted to older homeowners, and they don't require a monthly mortgage payment. So they borrow the money, the equity on their home, so they get that money, and they don't pay it until they die. So when they die, the bank takes the house,
sells it, and pays any debts.
Yeah. And so let me give you the example of where it's a benefit. So we can start there and then we can start how it's not a benefit. But the benefit is, so if let's say you're either a couple or you don't have any grandkids, you don't have any inheritance to give. You can get money now while you're alive on your home, use it. And then when you die, sure, take the house. I'm dead anyways. I don't care. So you get that money up front while you're alive. So this benefit is if you don't have anybody to give the money to, might as well, because money now is better than money when I'm dead.
Versus outright selling the house and renting like an apartment or something?
Correct. Because at this point in the game, you bought your house, you lived in it, you get set in your ways. The older you become, the more set in your ways you are.
That's a silver fox speaking. So what you're saying is Yeah, that is true, right? Because normally, if you have people you can leave it with, you sort of touch that vein inside of you of legacy, where you're like, I'm gonna leave my kids my house. That way, their life is a little easier, and they can climb a little higher in the social, ladders of society, right?
Yeah, but what if my kids already have their own house?
Fuck them, John. Fuck your kids.
Exactly.
I want a ball.
I don't know. I think the bank probably gives you like a bad deal on it.
So it depends. So what it is, it depends on your loan and the equity you have. For example, these lucky boomers bought a house for like $30, and now their home is worth $500,000.
Okay, so they got a lot of money that grew out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere because they got lucky. So I'm always jealous of these boomers because they got like the I'll just elaborate here. The best generation was the generation that fought in World War II. The most privileged generation was them boomers. And I call all you boomers out. What's up? They want to make fun of us millennials. I'm like, listen, y'all, everything was dirt cheap in the boomer world. Do the math. So you buy your house, and now it's worth all this equity because you bought it. Let's just real numbers. You bought it for $100,000. It's like $400,000 now. So you have about a $300,000 variance on your home.
Mm-hmm.
You get that. You get your reverse mortgage. You get your money, and it can be paid out in multiple ways. They can give you a lump sum. They can do what's called an annuity. So an annuity is they just pay you monthly off your lump sum, and it's almost like a paycheck for those that don't know how to control themselves. Give me a lump sum all day because I know how to control myself. But some people,
I need the annuity.
If you take the lump sum, then you have nowhere to live.
No, you take the lump sum. Remember, they get your house at the end. They gave you the money up front, but they own your house.
No, you still live there.
You stay in the house until you die.
Yeah, but once you die,
that's it. It's over.
Man, if I'm right there age, it could be any day.
I did also see that with my grandparents. They give the children the offer to buy the house at the current market price at the time of the person's death. But if not, then it's gone.
They're still negotiating. You can either buy it now or it's going to the bank. You pick.
Yeah. It's up to you.
Like, I mean, some kids were like, "Oh no, I want mommy and daddy's house," like that. But like others, like, I already got my own house. The fuck. See,
so the benefit to us, and I'll give you the benefit to us, and I'll give you the benefit to the bank. So the benefit to us is we get money now. So we're alive. So assuming you don't have kids, you get money right now and you can ball. Benefit to the bank is bank has all this money. Once they own your house, the flip game is strong with them. They're like, okay, great. We bought this house for whatever. Yeah, we gave that money, but then we flipped it because that value of the house went insanely up. So they get their money back because they're going to get their money back for sure because they own your house. And then they get their money back because you have the house, and then they can flip it. So they money off your house.
Yeah.
So motherfucker, you telling me I worked 30 years to pay this fucking house off to then get money in exchange for the value of the house.
Yeah.
To then die, and then the house is no longer mine, and I work for nothing.
Full circle.
Well, no, but you're dead. So like, I mean, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, but you worked your entire life to live in this house versus going and doing whatever the fuck you wanted to do but you have to be responsible and live in this house for the next 30 years because you pay a mortgage.
I mean, you don't have to. It's one of those like.
But you did. Like this already happened. Like, you did.
Yeah.
And then the banks will be like, no, you know what? Let me make some money off of you dying.
Yeah. I mean, remember, everyone's forgetting you're getting cash. Like you're getting the cash on like up front from your reverse mortgage.
But the difference. What if you already paid the house off? Like you don't owe anything, and
you can still do it.
You don't have to do
it. You don't have to do a reverse mortgage ever. Like you don't have to.
The party still take the house from you unless you give it to your kids.
Right. These are options. Like this is a vessel You don't have to do it at all. It's just there to exist. Because I'm thinking about this, right? So if I'm like 80, 90 years old, I have no kids, no nothing, and I'm just like, you know what? I need to up my game. I need to go get me a fancy car, get some like young 20-some-year-olds. When I'm 80, 90, I'm like, yeah, this ball. Do a Hugh Hefner on this? Yeah, give me that money. And when I die, I die.
So you think people that have like $20 million mansions, they do reverse mortgage?
I mean, why not? You got that's 20 mil up front.
Oof. And then they make 30.
But you're dead. Like, that's the thing. Like,
it doesn't matter.
It's always there's always going to be a game. Just you got to understand how the game is played.
Okay. So practically, what you're doing with this is a way for you to enjoy the rest of your life if you don't have the means to do it. And in the case where you don't have any children, then it makes more sense, because why do you want who you're leaving this to? Now it does bring this like evil incentive, right? Like in the case of Spain, which for some reason seems a little more sinister. It's like you buy the house from them, right? Like they say the market price is 200 and you get it at 70, right? And it's like a gamble where you're like, this guy could die today, or he could live 30 years, this piece of shit.
The oldest human living being in Spain.
And I bet there's people that got into a deal like this when the motherfucker was like 67, and now the guy's 97 going strong, and they're like, God damn it, that fucking deal.
You want to play evil? I got one for you. I'm pretty sure these banks, they'll kill you. That's the only thing. After a certain amount of time, they will make it look like an accident.
I guess. Don't look now, but you have like a red dot on your forehead.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about white.
You think it could be that sinister?
Oh yeah, dude. If there's one thing I trust in this world more than anything: human greed. I trust greed more than anything. Like, it's just, I think Pirates in the Caribbean, you can trust a dishonest person to be dishonest. I can trust a greedy person to be greedy all day. Follow the money, and there is your answer.
Damn. So you think these banks might be like doing it Russian style with plutonium, little by little poisoning? It takes 3 months to kill them.
Well, like I said, died of natural causes. It just got old.
Like, hey, look, we need you to sign this letter, and then they send you a letter like every month or something.
Yeah.
I just think it brings a bunch of incentives
to kill someone.
Yeah, like and in Spain, I mean, you know, they call it the first world, but I'd say it's more like the second. Yeah. So, I mean, I could definitely see here how people might have done shenanigans with one of those deals.
Like, I'll give you an easy kill.
Can you live in there with them?
I mean, it all depends on what contract you make, but the common default option is no. But I have thought about it. Like, can we room it at least?
It's my place.
Could you imagine the person living in there outliving the person that bought it?
Bro, that's a fucking movie. The guy who bought it gets cancer 10 years later and dies.
Holy shit.
And then the old guy sells it again
to somebody else, and they die. Like the person that keeps buying the house,
he does it for free rent his whole life.
That's crazy.
And you find out at the end he's like a vampire or some shit. So he's just like consecutively selling it to people every 20 years.
He's the one killing them off.
Oof.
There's this stand-up special, which, by the way, there's a new one coming out from Norm Macdonald. He's dead now, but apparently he recorded one before he's dead, and I'm super excited. May 30th. But on one of his specials, he was talking about reverse mortgage. He's like, man, I don't really understand this reverse mortgage, And a friend of mine explained it. He's like, all right, you know, a mortgage. Okay, you want to know what a reverse mortgage? Let me explain what a mortgage is first. You know how like you grow and then you go into school and you start following your passion, and then eventually you graduate after so much hard work, and then you find your dream job and you climb up the corporate ladder, and little by little you start gaining a little more experience and money. You find a nice girl that you love and you marry and you have kids, and eventually you save up enough money to go into a mortgage and buy your first house, and by God, you are in the American dream. Well, the reverse mortgage is total opposite of that.
Oh man,
He says had a lot funnier though, but
yeah. What if in the last special that he recorded, he says the N-word? Like, do we say he's already dead? Can we go after him and attack him? Like because he said that.
People could attack the publishers.
So attack Netflix.
But I will say
it's releasing through Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix,
probably.
Yeah,
it would be like a crazy move, right?
Would they bleep it?
They wouldn't even release it.
They would cut the whole sketch.
They would just cut it out.
The whole thing. They just clip.
Yeah, you would need to do like Louis C.K. Release it independently.
So if he decided to release it independently, like let's say he's like, this, like theoretically, if he were to release it independently through like some sort of service or whatever, like on his website, he makes no money off of it.
You would buy it.
I mean, I already did it.
What, the special where he says the N-word? He's like, yeah, it's a secret special. Going back to the mortgages. Do you think this is evil practice? This is fucked up shit? Or do you think it's just a business where there's a demand for it, and then there's people that are willing to, attend to that demand to make a profit?
Seems like it's a win-win. The people that are getting into them find the benefit of it. The bank's willing to provide it, so I just see it as another transaction.
Kind of like going back onto what Gus was saying, this would be a benefit to the people living in the house. It would be a not benefit for if like an heir was expecting the house, because they're like, they're not financially stable as they would like to be or whatever, and they were depending on, they're counting on their parents dying and leaving them the property kind of scenario, like. That would be okay. So like how he was saying, you're leaving a legacy or you're leaving this property to an heir. Like it wouldn't be a benefit to, like, it'd be a benefit for the people that are living in the house, but not for their children. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but what if the children are a piece of shit?
Well, that's different. I mean, and that's even more of a reason for them to do it.
Yeah, like,
would you do it? Okay.
So, assuming it's clean, it's a benefit to both parties. However, I do think that the banks will try to pull one on you. You know how they try to pull one on you? Fees, closing fees, origination fees, third-party fees, initial mortgage insurance premium fees. They just add fees that are like, oh, we just throw these fees in there and wrecked. So again, remember, I give you a clean version, and then I throw in like where the greed is. The bank's like, oh, no, we're just going to give you this money. You can give me some fees added on to this.
Right. And like every year that you have this with us, there's a fee. And because there's so much money there that's going to be given to you gradually over the years, I'm also going to be gradually taking, and it's going to be hard for you to even give a fuck, especially if one of all these, old people that aren't really like sure where they even live.
Yeah.
And taxes on those fees. And then at the end, when they sell the house, they're also gaining X amount. Right? They get the house. Let's say you've lived there for 5 years. the house is also valued up in 5 years, you know? So they're also getting a difference on the value of the house when they sell.
Paying their own mortgage and then selling it.
Yeah. All because you want to live in your same house.
But I mean, what's the alternative? The person dies, it goes to the banks anyway.
No, versus outright selling it.
So like the other alternative.
Yeah, I mean, you could sell it, but no, if you're 80 years old, you're not going to want to go through that whole process.
Tavo, who I don't know if he is, but he looks more like the finance guy. Wouldn't you say that because the banks know that they're targeting people that might not be educated in this and they're going to fuck them with the fees and shit, ideally what you want to do if you don't want to leave your house to anybody, you don't have kids and shit, is you want to sell the thing at a good time, grab that money, maybe rent low around the world and fucking, hookers and cocaine.
That's always the move.
Like not even rent, just buy a houseboat and just live in the sea, like Jack Sparrow.
See, this is where like if you knew when you were gonna die, you can make a more informed decision. Like the date, not how, but just like if I know I'm dying this day for sure, you can make so much better financial decisions, life decisions as a whole, because you know your death date.
There has been movies where like there's a scene where the kid, I think in Big Fish, they have the scene where there's a witch that if you look at her in her eyes, she will tell you when you're gonna die and how you're gonna die. And in the movie, the main character, he isn't afraid to see it, so he sees it. And because of that, he becomes courageous about everything else in life because he knows that he won't die from that. I mean, that is far-fetched because, of course, knowing how you're going to die, which would even debate if that's possible to know, doesn't make it so that you cannot die any other ways. But in any case, if that was how it worked, would you want to know, even though that might be an eerie, scary feeling, but that information will allow you to organize your life in a more accurate, surgical way?
I can go first, boys. I thought of this. I'll give you guys time to think. Yeah. I would say I want to know the day. Because they always tell you in school and all these places, like, carpe diem, seize the day, YOLO. But if you really YOLO'd, like, to the extreme, there's no coming back. Like, like the amount of things that you did, like, you need to die tomorrow. Right? You have, it's like, I don't care what happens. I'm dead tomorrow. Like, so knowing the day, you know how to plan financially and you know when to go all out. Like, to them, I do not care what happens because I am not here tomorrow.
Right. Damn. So you would use it to your advantage and get over the
fear. We're all gonna die.
Yeah. I guess the fear is that if you get an earlier date than you would have wanted to, it's almost better to not know that it was gonna come then. But I mean, I think this is more like a psychological exercise because knowing how you're gonna die will make it so that you change your decision. It's like the butterfly effect, so then you wouldn't really die from that, etc. John, what would you do? Would you want to know?
Are we asking would we want to know the day, how, or would we want to know whether or not? Like what day?
Whether or not you die?
Okay, like whether or not to know if you're gonna die. Like you get the choice. You can know whether to die or you don't, or you get to choose to know when you died or how you died.
When? Let's leave it with when. It's a time thing.
I mean, it would be very nerve-wracking at first and leading up to the day. Like so knowing, like, finding out that you're gonna die, let's say in 3 months, you're like, oh shit, oh fuck, and then you just start tripping out. Like for the first 24 hours, you start tripping out for sure. After that, you're like, all right, so now we know.
First 3 months, I'm tripping out.
Now we know I'm fucking dying in 3 months. then leading up to it, you try to, it'd be like a whole, like, you know, like those cancer patients when they know that they're gonna die, they're like, oh, you're gonna die in a week, so they try to do as much as they can in that a week to live up to it. Sometimes they take years to die. Sometimes they die before the week. You never know. But if there's like a special, you know, like it says, no matter what you do, you're dying on this day. So you have like this, like you could like skydive without a parachute. Somehow you land like on a hot air balloon, and then like you bounce off, and then like you're okay, you're fine. Like an eagle comes and carries you away, or some shit, like something stupid like that. But like there's a certain day you're dying, and
yeah, we know.
Then
would you know? Would you want to know it?
Shit. Yeah.
Think about it. I'll give you something to think about. What yes or no? So assume 3 months, right? You're gonna die in 3 months. Financially, take every credit card you can possibly take out. Take all the money you can possibly get. Like those like commercials that come in, get money, $100,000 fast. Take everything out, all of it, right? You get that, all the money you can possibly get. By the time collections hits, you're dead. Oof. Look how you bawled. Like, because you knew you were going to die. Like, I don't care what.
Yeah, otherwise.
The timeline changes, and then John lives another 30 years.
If you didn't know, you might be, fucking Red Lobster frying bread, and you die there.
Right. So, exactly. It's like the alternative is you're just living your regular life. You didn't do anything, and you just choke on the biscuits at Red Lobster.
Like, imagine you woke up early that morning to go to work. And you die in your office fucking chairs.
Oh my God.
Okay, Adrian.
Well, I don't think it's fair, dude. Like everybody I think would want to know.
I don't.
I think the only way you don't. I think the only way that it'd be
because I'm a bitch.
If everybody can opt in, then I don't think this shit would work, because then everybody would fucking go crazy.
Because everybody would fucking go fucking bananas for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't tap into that system if everybody has access to it too.
This only works in a movie where one character has that knowledge.
Yeah.
Because if everyone has it, then everybody's YOLO.
I would want to know. I have to figure out all my finances for the kids and set up my life insurance and do all that bullshit. So
you pump it up because randomly, like, I just want to increase it. I feel, and you all good. You pump that life insurance up.
But then if you're pumping the life insurance up, but then you also are accruing all this debt, then the life insurance will have to pay off the debt.
Well, no. See, but he's got kids he wouldn't do the credit card things that I would do because I don't have any kids. Whereas Fear would know, like, Fear would be like, all right, I'm going to pump life insurance up. I'm going to set everything up nicely, like get everything ready, not waste money, put it all ready for my kids so they're ready to go. It's a whole different setup.
Right, I might ask when they're going to pass and put life insurance on them.
Yeah. Right.
See if they go first.
But
that's dark.
Damn.
Fuck. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. And I think it's important to know what the listeners think. What would you do if you were given the choice to know the date when you were going to die? Would you want to know and take advantage of that to make decisions in your life that are going to benefit you and your loved ones? Or are you like KIKO, too much of a bitch to confront your own mortality? Let us know.
But I think all the listeners that are listening, like the twins and shit, they're going to be like, bro, I'm going to fucking max out all these credit cards. I'm going to just get a bunch of fucking... I'm not even going to continue. But yeah.
We do have a lot of degenerates that listen to
all the listeners, we don't know when we will die. We just know that it is certain that we will all die. I would like to extend
amen, John.
A big hug to all of you guys. I love you guys. Go hug your grandmas, go hug your grandpas, go hug your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, everybody. And just pour one out for those of us that have already found the time and date of when they died.